Hello everyone, Mr. Nolsels here, and today I'm going to try to answer one simple question. What is Z.A.T.O? I love the world and everything in it. Well, put it simply, it is an overwhelmingly positive, free-to-play game, similar to, oh man, what was it? It was the Dial Rog or whatever, if I can get this thing to kick over. There we go. So, Dial Og was an interesting game. I enjoyed playing it, but there were some parts that were a little weird with that, especially later on. Z.A.T.O, though, also seems to be in a similar vein, and even if it's weird, I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal enjoyment experience because it's absolutely free. There is no cost or barrier to entry to do this. I'm pretty sure it's mostly a narrative base. So, yeah, why not give it a shot, right? Besides, I'm playing a lot of these games, so a free game with a high quality. Oh, it's doing it again where it's not actually. Okay, hold on. I gotta try to actually fix this. If I window it, it works. But if I full screen it, it fails. Okay, well, first off, I better lower a little bit of this. This is really disappointing. I don't want to play it windowed, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to have a choice with this due to. Yeah, it's really kind of frustrating because, display capture doesn't normally have this problem. It just captures whatever is on the display itself. Um, Let me see. Maybe I can add a source and that will. Yeah, it's like video capture. I'm gonna try this and let's see if I flip it over now to. No, even that doesn't fix the problem. Oh, wait. See, it fixes it for a second. And I really don't understand why it has this problem. It doesn't make sense that it has this. Because it didn't have this problem, a couple weeks ago. And it doesn't happen with all games. But it only happens with some of them. And some of them I'm able to fix just by messing around with the, window settings and stuff like that. But some of these games, you can't really do that. Which seems to be a relatively minor gripe, but if someone's looking at this and they want to go and stream the game with people, that's going to be a pain in the butt. So unfortunately, people, I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me on that point. I didn't know that. Assuming that's true, of course. I very much agree with the sentiment of this game, actually. I kind of disagree with that. We developed to be able to sustain ourselves with this star and planet. I have to wonder if this is going to be the entire game, if it's just a bunch of stuff that's sent to you via text. We've been rocking this now for, what, 5-6 minutes? This reads like something that's very egocentric. Is this the entirety of the game? Like, legitimately? This has been 8 minutes of just deposition. No, that actually sounds kind of terrible. I suppose if you were like religious and you looked at the world as God or something like that, then this would make a lot more sense. But if you look at the world as he's wrong, or they're wrong, I'm assuming it's a he, as it doesn't have a thought or feelings, it's just a cold, empty void, and they're just prescribing the world cares about them and stuff like that. It's very naive from my point of view. It'd be nice if the world was the way they would like it, though. Oh, there we go. So I guess I must be getting to the point of actually playing the game here. They were daydreaming. Makes sense. That didn't sound like a tap. What? That. What? That's dark. What? That's a interesting personality. Kids do a lot of cruel things due to boredom. Seems like a small community. So they must be in high school or something, is the way I'm taking this. Like sophomores, maybe not freshmen, but sophomores. There's a trace of worry. But thinks that they would be someone to save him. Sounds like family troubles. I mean, that could be entirely false. Kids just talking. I mean, you're assuming it's like that. That's just convincing themselves that they have facts. What on earth? This is some Romeo and Juliet level of stupidity here. But they're not friends with Ira, which makes things really confusing. Consider themselves close, but not really. Interesting. Yeah, that was exactly the type of thing that I kind of took. Maybe not exactly the way I'd phrase it, but this is kind of like watching a movie, a very weird, strange anime. I have to wonder if this is supposed to be in Russia. Or maybe one of the northern Chinese provinces. Yeah, there is no winning with people like that. Or she's hurt somewhere, and that's it. Definitely not an American school. Seems. I mean, maybe if they treat them like that, maybe that's why she's with the other guy, if that is even true. Because that would be a way to get rid of these people. You're getting bullied every day, you do a lot of crazy stuff to get out of it. It's at least one thing I had growing up. I didn't really have a lot of fantasies, like things would work out, or I don't know, like I would win a fight or something. Just disengaging and reading is the better choice. Always having something else to occupy yourself to ignore them. Give yourself an excuse and disengage. So she wasn't at school either. So it's really 2 days of people not really seeing her that would expect to see her. So they saw them. I mean, tracking down a missing person is hard, and if you know that they left immediately or didn't leave. So this is actually something I'm going to talk about because it actually is something that's generally useful. When you're trying to find someone that's missing, there's two problems. One, you have to assume that they can only travel so far from any given point, and you have to wonder if it's at their own power or if someone else is compelling them to. And then you have to consider from there. If they're leaving through their own power, for instance, walking, they can only walk so far within any given day, which means there's a search radius that's a fixed distance dependent upon time of last seen. If you can pinpoint that they were within a location, your search radius is relatively small. Now, if it's not under truly their own power, but still under their own volition, it's likely that they use their own ID at some point. If they were getting on the train, they had to show like a license or whatever, or some kind of personal ID saying they are who they are to buy the ticket, or some other method in which you can track them. So train, hopefully you're going to have some record or camera showing them at a spot between 2 points when they onbarked and disembarked. And then you have car. There's a lot of like traffic cams and stuff like that, and then you also have the physical location of the car itself. You can put out an APB or whatever it is, like a missing person thing. You can actually track the individual vehicle, and once you know where the vehicle ended up, you either know that they're still in the area around the car, or that they at least were there within a set amount of time. If they're taken, that's when things get complicated because often there's, people purposely try to obfuscate who the individual they're taking with them is. They don't necessarily want to take public areas. They take like a bike and take them off like a path or someplace like that, or they have them at threat. So you don't necessarily know which vehicle they're taking, or they're in a stolen vehicle, which happens more often than if it was under their own power. So having some information about where they were, what their condition was, that kind of information can be a huge clue in on what exactly the situation it is that you're dealing with, especially when there's people claiming that they were with a strange older man. Um, that kind of details could be huge. So I'm just going to point that out here and then go back to the game. But Boy Scouts, they teach you a little bit about, like, how to find people in the wilderness, and then just general study on my own. That's how I came into all this other stuff. But if you're ever trying, like, if anyone's ever trying to kidnap you, you never go to a second location with them. You should always fight right then and there and make as much noise as possible, um, so that people see. Because if you allow them to take you to a second location, it's more likely to become fatalities increase statistically, and injuries also tend to get more severe. Most people that are trying to take you to a second location pick their targets based upon them being easy targets. So, yeah, that's the last I'm going to say of that. Honestly, I think this is all it is you're just pretty much watching a movie in a game. I think that is purely your own thoughts. Yeah, that's... Okay, I think I'm just going to leave it there. Um, this is Z.A.T.O. I love the world and everything in it. It is a very strange, free game. It seems like it's just a lot of narrative. I mean, I didn't do anything other than let it play and just watch it, so yeah. Oh, it is USSR. Okay, so it's not actually um well, I was right. It could be Russia or like northern China. I'm actually surprised that I was able to guess. Well, maybe I read that earlier. It's stuck in the back of my head. Ooh. Yeah, visual novel. Okay, yeah, so it's a visual novel. Hmm. Well, anyways, I'm going to just stop talking now. I hope you guys enjoy this if this is your kind of shtick. I'm on the fence on this one. It's free, so, if you want to watch something, I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing to go and spend your time on. But if you're looking for a game to play, well, there isn't really much of a game, and it's not even a walking simulator. It's literally a visual novel. I kind of dislike calling it a visual novel because it really isn't a novel. It's closer to, like, this is closer to a movie in some ways. But I guess because of the heavy basis of text, does it really matter if it's in a static frame or in dynamic? Because it effectively is just playing itself. So, yeah, I guess visual novel isn't a bad way of calling it, but I don't necessarily agree with it at the same time. Because when I think novel, I think I'm flipping pages and stuff like that, but I guess if you were manually doing it, that wouldn't be the case. Or, well, that would be the case of, like, bed clicking. But, anyways, I'm rambling. Adios, everyone.